What's up guys? Alright, welcome to another install video with Monkey Inc. Today I'm going to show you guys how to service your headset on a mountain bike. It's actually really easy. It will be 1, 2, 3 steps, and yeah, stay tuned, let me show you how. Alright guys, so there will be 4 steps. The first step you'll do is you'll remove your front wheel, and then what I usually do is I just put something beneath the fork like this. I use a chair, you can use a wooden block or toolbox, everything you've got, just put a nice piece of rag there so it doesn't scratch your fork. That'll help you when loosening your headset. It'll actually just help you keep everything in place so it doesn't slide out. Sometimes the fork just slides out and then it's a big mess. So what I'll do is just put that down there. The second thing you're going to do is you'll take your number 5 or 4 Allen key, depending on what size bolts these are. I already started with this. You'll just unscrew these two here. You don't have to remove them completely. You're going to just remove those to unscrew them. You'll take your number 5 Allen key using your multi-tool. I spoke about tools that you need in the previous video. I'll just put up a link. Yes, this finger of mine, it looks better but not there yet. I'll put up a link about that video. So you're going to remove this completely. You do that. I'm going to put you guys down so I can do this with 2 hands. I told you guys you will need hands at one point, so I'm going to do that. You'll actually just let me zoom you guys in like that. So right, you'll remove the top one here, and you'll see a spacer comes with. You'll just take that out and put everything nice in order so you don't lose anything. You can take off your bar stem. Don't just throw this. You'll see if you've got a wired cat tie or something, just put it down nicely. Or what you can do is you can just take a tube. What I usually do is I just tighten it with the tube underneath your bike and it will stay there. And then you remove the next 2 spacers, and then the next thing you're going to do is, alright guys, there's 2 ways you can do this now. Usually this little cap here, the dust cap or the headset cap, sometimes it actually, well, I won't say it stays here, keeping your fork, everything in place. And what you can do is, if you don't really care about your bike, you can use a flat screwdriver with a little flat point there. You can just push it in there and take it out. But I'm going to show you the right way to do this, or the better way to do this. There's not always a right way, everybody's got their own way. So what you can do is remove your chair or the block that you've got underneath your fork. You're just going to hit it here with a rubber mallet, not a metal one, a rubber mallet. You can see that's rubber there, and now it looks already. Just going to give it a small hit here. And that's how you're going to get that out. Put your chair back in there. And now you can remove the top cap here. You guys will see I'm not working with gloves today. That's because of the little accident I just had with my finger. And yeah, you will get different types of headsets. This one is a normal bearing cup and cone headset. You'll see there's normal bearings inside there. So I'm going to clean those now, and then we'll move on to the bottom one. Alright guys, what I've done is, you can see I've cleaned inside here. I've actually, the stand that I've got, you can adjust it so you can change the degree your bike's hanging in, or the angle it's hanging in. So what I've just done is I've picked up the whole frame so that the fork actually falls out a little bit. I'm able to clean in here. You won't be able to clean while the fork's sticking through here, so remember you need to pull this down a bit. So get something lower to let your fork down a little bit to be able to clean in here. So I've cleaned that now. Now we're going to move to the bottom one. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to grease this one here. I'm going to put the bearing back so you know you don't lose anything, and then we'll move to the bottom one. Use this your rubber grease from Worth. That's nice, and I won't say it's waterproof, but it keeps out the moist a little bit, and that's the one that I will use. And remember, always clean your fork as well on the stereo there. You'll see that's quite dirty. So I'm going to clean that. I'm going to grease that, and I'll show you guys how we put it back together. Alright guys, I've cleaned the top one, greased it. I haven't cleaned all the top caps and the spaces as of yet. I'll do that just now. Alright, the next thing you're going to want to do is get something high enough. Let me see if I can show you guys. Get something high enough that you will be able to pull out the fork and let it lie down here, because you really want to prevent all these housings and cables from pinching or damaging when it's hanging too fast. You'll see all of them are still in quite a good shape. It's not hanging too much. You see these ones are hanging, but it's still straight, so there's not a problem with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, like I said, I've got this stand at home. See if you can just get your fork down to a nice point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove it like this. I'm going to put it down softly here, and what I'll do is I'm just going to take down my frame a little bit, and that's what you're going to do. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the bottom bearing, and then I'll clean that. I'll show you guys how that looks as well, and then we'll take it from there. Alright guys, this one actually was the cheaper quality seal bearings. So what I did is I took off the dust cap, this little one here, that little one there. Don't know if you guys can see that. Not focusing as it should, but there, that one. So I took that one off. I cleaned the bearing on the inside. I re-greased it. You'll see on the headsets I don't use as much grease as I use on the wheel bearings, because it's not a bearing that will rotate the whole time. It's just something that spins like this while you're turning. So it's not a massive working bearing, so you don't need that much grease. What I do use is your red rubber grease from Worth. That's nice, and I won't say it's waterproof, but it keeps out the moist a little bit, and that's the one that I will use. And remember, always clean your fork as well on the stereo there. You'll see that's quite dirty, so I'm going to clean that. I'm going to grease that, and I'll show you guys how we put it back together. And that's how it looks there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a bit of grease, just put it down there as well. Make sure it covers it, just like that. Don't worry about the extra, you'll just wipe that off. And then I just give this whole stereo a very, very light layer of grease. You can just use your hand to wipe it all over there. Don't do it with a broken finger, it's quite sore. So that's what I'll do is I cover the whole thing there, and now we're going to just basically do it in reverse. Put the thing back the way you took it out. I'm going to put on that little one there. There's grease on there as well. And now the other thing you'll have to remember is make sure your housings are routed the same way that when you took it out. You can take a picture beforehand. That's what I did when I just started out, and you'll know which cable or each housing goes where. So what you're going to do is you're going to push this back from the bottom, just move that away. Push it back from the bottom, and then yes, usually where it was difficult for me, because then I try to hold it with my hand, try to get these things on. I don't do that anymore. I'll just get that thing that you used to put on your fork, just put that back there, and problem solved. Alright, I'm just going to clean all these caps and spaces, and when that's done I'll just show you guys the necessary things to know when you're finishing up. And yeah, give it a nice little layer of grease here. I'll show you guys now, just a little bit, it's not too much. Make sure you've got all the little spaces you've taken out. Put that one back in there, and then I've actually had two spaces before I had the bar stem. I'm cleaning those out as well, because usually the gravel and the ground goes in between. There's all the dust, and it does make a creaking noise when you're riding or turning, so I'm going to put that over there. And you know, I should push some of the grease off there, so I'm just going to put a little layer on there again. Push those two back. And now for the headset, the bar stem, clean that inside there. Put some little bit of grease there. I know it sounds like I'm putting a lot of grease, but remember, rather put all the grease on there everywhere. And you know you're not going to have a rusted bike or anything that's rusting, or you're going to struggle to get it out. So I'm going to put that over. The last one, yeah, put that on. Alright, so I've cleaned this just now, that little screw there. I'm just going to put on some grease on the pin, on the tip of that. You'll see there, the camera doesn't want to focus there. I think it's maybe because of that fall yesterday. So just some grease there. The only thing that'll do is it'll just grease the whole thread as you turn it in. Alright guys, I'm just going to pitch up this bike real quick, and then I'll show you guys the final adjustment on that handlebar stem. Now it's the final part where you're gonna align your stereo with the wheel and the frame. Make sure that's aligned. And what you'll do is now you're gonna play around with this. There are different torque settings, like I said, but for your normal cup and cone bearings, you're going to take your multi-tool, your Allen key number 5 Allen key, you're going to put it in there, you're going to tighten it a little bit, and then you're going to pull your front brake, this one here, pull the bike to the front and to the back, and you'll feel there's a small clicking feel, or you'll feel this play on your headset, and you tighten this a little bit more till that play is out. But don't over tighten it, because once you over tighten it, you'll feel it starts turning a bit heavy. So make sure there's no play on here, and then just tighten that, and I'm going to torque these, and that's how you service your headset. Alright, the motivation for today is, I've actually heard this a while ago, and I said yesterday on the video that you know when to give up, or know when you failed, and what. You can watch the video, I'll put up a link for that. But I want to correct myself on this, and I've actually heard this, and actually inspired me to continue and to strive on, to work harder. What it said is, time is the most precious resource we have. Don't waste it doing nothing, or doing something invaluable. Don't let the enemy steal valuable time. Now, while the enemy is time-wasting situations, things that you do that don't add any value to your time or day. Life is only so short. Don't waste any time of it doing nothing. You have only failed when you've decided to give up. Otherwise, you haven't fully learned how to reach your goal. And I must say that's actually quite nice. We do have times in a situation where we fail. The only thing is that means we haven't fully learned how to control that environment, or how to reach our goal for that day. So, yeah, guys, never say never. Don't stop trying. Keep on keeping on, and you'll reach your goal.